Hello there, this is Gary Sharp with Gibraltar Software, and today I want to talk to you about the NuGet package manager. So what is NuGet? NuGet's a Visual Studio extension which makes it easy for you, the developers, to manage third-party libraries for your .NET projects. Now it does this by, when you install a third-party library, it automatically adds the references, it makes the necessary changes to your app.config or your web.config file, and possibly most usefully, when you remove the library, it tidies up your project by reversing out all of those changes that it made. So how does Gibraltar use NuGet? Well, we use NuGet to manage the sometimes complex relationships between the Gibraltar agent and some of the third-party libraries that we use, like PostSharp, NLog, Log4Net, etc. So let's jump back into Visual Studio. Now that we know what NuGet is, how can we tell if we have it installed in our version of Visual Studio? We can do that by opening the Tools menu, and if we scroll down, if we have a menu item that says Library Package Manager, then we have the NuGet Package Manager installed. If not, simply drop down to the Extension Manager and open that up. Go to the Online Gallery and search for NuGet. And here we can see we've got the NuGet Package Manager. I have it installed, which is illustrated by this white tick on a green background. If it wasn't installed, I would have a download button like this, so simply go ahead and hit the download button and install NuGet Package Manager onto your machine. Having done that, then we can then use the NuGet Package Manager in this particular scenario, this scenario that I'm going to describe to you. So we're going to imagine that we're a developer in a developer team, we've created an application and we've passed that across to our testing team. The testing team have Gibraltar Analyst installed, they've run some tests, come across a problem, and they want to investigate it further, so they've passed the application back to you and they've asked you to enable your application for use with Gibraltar Analyst. Now we know that one of the easiest ways of enabling an application for use for Gibraltar Analyst is to open up Analyst and work our way through the wizard there. Now in this particular scenario, of course, we're going to assume that as developers we don't have Gibraltar Analyst installed on our machine, and so we're going to use the NuGet Package Manager to enable our application in a very simple and straightforward way. Before we do that, of course, I'm just going to walk you through the application so we know what we're doing. It's a very simple application. I've created an employee class here. An employee has a salary and a full name, as well as methods to increment the salary by percentage and decrement the salary by percentage. Now both of the increment and decrement methods calculate a new salary, store the salary, and log that information out. In the increment salary by percentage method only, we validate this salary, and the validation comes in the form of checking that the new salary isn't greater than a high salary value, and if it is, we throw a salary too high exception. The log salary method simply uses the trace functionality to write out that information. Now here's the code that actually drives our demonstration. We create a new employee with a default name and salary, and then we increment the salary 5 times, checking to make sure we don't come across the exception, and if we do, we trace that information out, and then we decrement the salary 5 times before closing out the trace. Alright, so let's open our output window, just clear everything out of there and run that application. Okay, so here we can see that our employee gets created and the salary gets incremented a couple of times, and then we start to see issues with our salary being over the high salary limit and those exceptions being thrown, and then our salary gets decremented. Now because we incremented the salary 5 times and we decremented the salary 5 times, but some of those increments didn't work, we've ended up in a situation where the salary has been decremented to a level below the starting salary, and this is perhaps the issue that our testing team have uncovered and want to investigate further, and they've asked us to enable our application to work with Gibraltar Analyst so that they can do this, and we're going to do that by using the NuGet Package Manager. So to do that, close down the output window, select our project, right click and select Add Library Package Reference. Go online and search for Gibraltar. And here's the packages for Gibraltar. You can see there are some for the third-party packages, for the third-party libraries I was talking about. There's the PostSharp one, the NLog one, and the Log4net one. But the one that we're interested in today is just to simply set our application up for use with Gibraltar Analyst, and to do that we just need the Gibraltar agent. So I'm going to go ahead and install that now. Once it's installed, close that down. You can see references have been added to the Gibraltar agent library and the Gibraltar package library, as well as all of the basic settings that we need to make our application work have been added to our app.config file. So let's close that down. Now we could actually run our application now and have all that trace information sent to Gibraltar Analyst, but because we're actually using Gibraltar now, we can go one stage further and make our life for our support colleagues a little bit easier, and we can do that by just adding a using statement to Gibraltar agent like so, and then down here where we actually traced the error, instead of using trace.traceError, we can actually use Gibraltar's log.traceError, and that will enable us to pass in the exception, and that exception will be passed forward to Gibraltar Analyst as well. And with that simple change, let's run our application. Once that's completed, let's open Gibraltar Analyst, and here's our NuGet demo. Let's open up the topmost session, and we can see that all that trace information has been sent forward to Gibraltar Analyst, as well as here is our exception, and if we double click on that, we can see that our information is here, as well as the exception being passed forward through that trace error function. Okay, so that's all I want to talk about in this video just now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.